I forgot to do this earlier. What I'm going to be doing a lot of times from now on is showing you how I'm going to haft the arrowheads that I'm making on video. So before I forget, let me do this. Let me go over this. Now, it's made for this greasewood foreshaft. I mean, it's made to fit. And the guy I'm making this for is going to be using this as an arrowhead for arrows, for hunting arrows. But it's traditionally, or in the old days, this would be used for an Atlatl dart point. And I made a foreshaft for it just to illustrate what I would mount it to if this were my project. I would, use a more substantial foreshaft to kind of match the proportions of the arrowhead and mount it to an Atlatl shaft instead of an arrow shaft. And this is called a foreshaft, and the main shaft, it's called a main shaft in a lot of the literature. I made a replica a while ago of an actual Atlatl dart point and foreshaft, and it's right there in the book. Okay, let's see if I can give you a close-up. See how it's wrapped with sinew? And it's not crisscross like you normally see a lot of these arrowheads. It's just wrapped, and there's some sinew going over the top of the foreshaft. So I tried to make a replica of the way it was hafted. Okay, and it's this point here, 4.13, and it's right here. San Pedro cluster, basket maker 2 dart. Chirp point is secured with pitch and bound with sinew to a wooden foreshaft, tapered to fit a spear main shaft. And that spear is actually an Atlatl dart. Sand dune cave, site NA7523, level 2, and so forth. Okay, and it's in this book here. The one that's probably out of print and very difficult to get. Sorry about that, but it was easily available a few years ago. Anyway, I tried to make an exact duplicate. All right, for my personal reference, and to get the feel of how these were made and how much they weigh and all that. And I have a video where I weigh this and I measure it and all that, but just to recap, just for you guys that hadn't seen it before. I'm going to weigh this in grains. 240 grains, 236 for the whole thing for an Atlatl dart, which is much larger than an arrow. And many modern hunters are actually using 250 grain arrowheads. But as you can see, this whole thing with the foreshaft and the projectile point is 246, or let's see, that's probably, I'm tipping this so I'm not getting an accurate reading. $240. Okay. Now, this one here, 268. Okay. So this is how I would normally mount an arrowhead or a projectile point of this size onto a foreshaft that's proportional to the projectile point. Okay. Now, I've got some reeds down here. I'll be making some Atlatls. Oops. This summer. I'm practicing with them. I'll be using bone and other arrowheads. This is a bone point, very similar to what is found alongside paleo type projectile points like Clovis. And this is about the thickest I can get with cow bone that you can buy at the store. Let's see. See if I can do this in fractions here. Okay. Let's see. At the thickest part, well, it keeps going to the different measurement. Let's see. All right, I think the battery went out on it. 23/64. All right, it's goofing up on me. 23/64. I'm not sure what that is. Maybe close to 3/8. All right, so that's about as substantial as I can get with cow bone from the store. All right, and it fits in a reed, Phragmites reed, pretty easily. This is it's actually a pretty substantial reed. I've got other ones that are heavier or thicker. Okay, but this is probably about the thickest I can get in Phragmites reed, which was used out here in the Southwest. Let's see if I can give you a shot of the end. Now, this is thicker than normal reed. It's not bamboo. I mean, it's not as substantial as bamboo. It's much lighter in weight, but the walls of this reed are pretty thick. Okay, so it can be used as an Atlatl dart or arrow easily. Phragmites reed is pretty good for that. Okay, but even with this substantial reed, the hole isn't really that big. It has to be reamed out. This will fit in pretty easily, but but some of the other ones, you know, you have to ream out the hole to get the Atlatl dart foreshaft to fit. Okay, and that's probably why you see a lot of drills found in the archaeological record, not only for cutting but for reaming out and drilling these holes for the foreshafts in reeds and in other wood that has pith inside the shoots. Okay, so again, this is the foreshaft I made the arrowhead for, but I wouldn't mount something this large. I'm not saying it can't be done. Many people do it. Arrowheads are more like, in the Americas anywhere, are more like this one here. You can see a substantial difference in size. And yeah, arrowheads were used for all different size game, from, you know, rabbits up to elk and bear, same size arrowheads. Some people call these bird points. But birds were not shot with these normally. They were shot with blunts. You know, blunts. Something that doesn't have a point, like this. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that. Someone asked me also about hafting these small arrowheads, and this is how I do it. I kind of, just pick a foreshaft that's proportional to the arrowhead. Now you can also mount a small arrowhead to a thick foreshaft. I think I have an example in here. Somewhere. This one's pretty thick, and it's an arrowhead. So it doesn't need to be really skinny. But most of the time they were. And then I'll be showing examples from from like the book that I just showed you, show you examples from the archaeological record of real foreshafts and real arrowheads. But I had a question on this too. And I tried to answer various questions in this video that people have asked me in the past few months. And hopefully that answers some of them. All right.